Hi again, everybody. Now, last week we talked about hearing God's voice, and I shared different ways in which that can happen. And this week I want to go a little further with that. There's something called soaking. Many of you will have heard of that, but for those of you that haven't, it's just spending time with Christian music, quiet, gentle music, no words or words, doesn't matter. And just relaxing, laying back and spending time. And for me, it was an hour, half an hour, whatever I needed. And just not having an agenda, not trying to get anything out of God, not trying to hear, but just being in his presence and listening and being aware if he were to say something or show me something. And I've done that for many years, but a few years ago, a neighbor invited me over to her house where she had a group of ladies from different churches who were having soaking mornings 1 day a week. And I found that was very beneficial because we would listen to quiet music, we would spend time usually around an hour, and we would just relax. And there are times when distractions would happen, when I would be distracted, for instance, with thoughts of things I needed to do. And for that, I would have a notebook and write those things down so that I would remember them later. Sometimes it's distractions of worry about something. And with those, I would give them to Jesus. It says, cast your cares on him because he cares for you. So everything that I would be worrying about, I would give it to him. If I felt like I was weighed down with something, I would give that to him until I came into a place of rest. And then I could truly relax and just be in his presence. And it was a wonderful time because I was with other people. I couldn't get up and go and do something because I was in somebody else's house. And so it became, for a few years, it became a habit to go and do that. And it was so beneficial. And when we had finished, we would share, each one of us would share what we'd heard or what we'd seen. And some people would have heard a scripture. Some people would maybe have a picture of something that they had seen. And occasionally, for me and others, we'd fall asleep. And you know what? That's not a problem. If you need a rest and fall asleep, it's great. Don't let that bother you. But when we shared afterwards, we would find that usually there was a pattern to what was being shared, and it would all form one picture. And to me, it was amazing that everything fitted together. And for me, that's beneficial because you're not just hearing what you're seeing or what you're hearing, but you're hearing what somebody else is hearing, and it really builds your faith. And there were times when each one of us would perhaps have something we'd heard for somebody else that we could share, and that builds the faith too. It's just a really good way of practicing listening, of practicing being in God's presence. It's not competitive, it's not a competition, it's not something where you've got to do something and you've got to achieve something. It's not, it's just a time to relax and to be with him, and whatever comes up, comes up. And nothing is wrong. And at the end of our time, if we needed prayer, we would pray for each other. It was just an incredible time. So I can't say enough about the benefits of soaking, even if you do it by yourself. And if you get nowhere, if you're not hearing anything, don't worry about it. If you just have a rest and a feeling God's presence, that's part of it. He may not want to tell you anything. He may not want to show you anything. He may just want to be in your presence, knowing that you are doing it because you want him, because you want more of him, because you want to know more, because you want to be with him. And that's important. And so I would encourage you to try it if you haven't already. And if you have, try it with a small group. And if you're starting new, it does take time, but everything you do, every time you spend just being in that place is going to be a benefit, because if nothing else, you'll have his presence. And he loves the fact that you want to be with him, that you want to spend that time. And he will give you what you need, regardless of what that is. And so I want to leave you with that this week and encourage you to have a go, try it out. And if you haven't, try it out with a group. And I would love to hear from some of you how you benefited from this, or what happened when you tried it, so that other people can hear what others have to say. If you want to share this with others, that would be great. And I'll see you next week. Bye for now.